Alrighty, man, here we are. Game number 2, Ohana, as mentioned. Top left corner, Illusion. Gonna be your orange Terran player. Gotta be kicking himself in the rear a little bit. If he actually sees that VOD, he's gonna see that he had a huge opportunity with his 2 racks early on to get a nice amount of damage, and unfortunately just seemed a little bit fearful of Grubby with his double gas follow-up into an expansion. He just didn't see the expansion, unfortunately, so just hurt himself a little bit. Looking into in the bottom right corner, guys. Green Protoss player, it's going to be Grubby, currently 1-0 in the series.
That's right, Grubby, son of Grubby, as he's officially known around the office, I should say. This is intriguing to me. Illusion did decide to go for that 2 racks opening, as we mentioned before, and if he had watched a replay, like you said, known he could have gotten in and done a little bit of damage, even with Grubby going for that 2 gas entry opening. Would have been a little bit rough. I mean, the force fields would have been there. He could have isolated a couple of those units, got the Zealot up nice and early to try and do some damage, but certainly there was a potential for Illusion to get something done. So you think he follows this up with another hyper-aggressive build, or is this something a little bit more conventional?
Well, this map allows for you to go to 1 racks expand. I mean, we saw this from pulled off pretty nicely as well. Grubby, last time, actually, Illusion was watching this series, saw Grubby go for a quick natural into a pretty fast third after reading Lucifer. So could think that Grubby maybe want to play a bit more of a macro game. So I guess hyper-aggressive would actually work out very well for Illusion. And actually, with him going for that gas very quickly here, he will have that option available to him.
And neither player doing a lot of scouting for the time being. Illusion just setting up his second supply depot. Wants to make sure he gets that up nice and early and then scouts afterwards. But of course, Grubby, you know, he's done a lot of early scouting in this tournament so far. Pretty much every game except for this one. But he's going to take some time now to sit back, and he's got a strategy in mind, and he's going to do it no matter what his opponent is up to.
Well, last game, Grubby went for Zealot into double sentry afterwards, as we were mentioning. So Banshee play could work out here. Pretty quickly. There won't be very many Stalkers on the field very quickly. Grubby, for some reason, doesn't seem to like going for Zealot Stalker across the middle of the map and getting harassment on your opponent in the natural. So Illusion could go for a second gas very quickly and then go in that route, but looks like he's going to go ahead and grab a tag collab right now.
All right, well, down here at the bottom right-hand corner, Grubby, he's gone for that single gas. He's keeping 3 workers on gas the entire time, so it looks like we're going to see that same Warp Gate and a Stalker build that we had seen in game number 1 against Luciferon. But Illusion, it's going to be up to him to try and force the matter now, especially as he finishes up that tech lab and starts producing some concussive shell marauders.
Very quick Marauder. This is an old build. A lot of players used to go for it because we used to have Protoss players going for really quick Nexus. And the whole point behind it is that you just get in with the Marauders and you're able to kill off probes very quickly. And if your opponent's too greedy, doesn't get a Zealot out, goes for Stalker first, you can actually kill that Stalker very quickly here. And we actually have a Stalker going first for Grubby. We need to have a Zealot. Oh, there's a Zealot actually, as you're pointing it out to me. I say dumb things. But it's going to be able to allow Illusion, if he can get the micro in, actually kill off a Stalker very quickly.
All right, well, he gets up to the front, and Illusion is probably going to hide this Marauder. No, in fact, he's actually going to need it to be able to fend off this Zealot. So Grubby sees the Marauder, he backs off at the moment. And what will his reaction be? Of course, 2 more gateways.
All right, so safe opening here, going to allow him to do nice defensive capabilities if he needs to go that route. Sentry already popping out as well for Grubby, so he reads it pretty nicely there, gets his Zealot out of dodge. We do have the 1 Marine and 2 Marauders now pushing across the middle of the map. SV comes in and does see the double gateway on the way. Got a small window here to get into the natural and start pelting away on the Nexus. Unfortunately, he won't be able to kill it with a small force, but could kill off a couple of units if he gets lucky.
Yeah, certainly, and it looks like this SUV is going to get a full scout there, but it already saw all the important stuff beforehand in that gas timing and the additional 2 gateways. Now, of course, as soon as that Marauder was revealed, Illusion basically said, all right, well, the jig is up. I know I've got to go back. I can't really pressure with this. This isn't the sort of thing where you can turn it into a big SUV pull and try and all in him or anything. So has to start making his way back and falls back to a little more conventional build. He had a lot of gas income, so he can prioritize those add-ons, but he's just adding on 2 more barracks for the time being.
Good thing about having this tech lab very quickly here is you can go quickly into stem pack, and there it goes actually right away, being researched immediately while that natural has been popped up for Illusion. So he will have some nice strong mid game after it gets +1, but for now he's kind of at a point where you have to sit back for a little bit here, keep the Xelnagas, but really can't engage on Grubby's ground for a while.
That's right, and Grubby already does have that second Nexus done, churning away, a lot of probes popping out of there, so he's reinvesting back into his economy while continuing to support his army, too. He's doing a nice job of that. In fact, chrono boosting out these gateways slowly but surely, and he could put on some pressure if he so desires in just a bit.
Yeah, it looks like it. With Illusion falling up into the double racks, though, he will have a nice amount of ground units on the field. With the bunker, he should be able to hold off a majority of anything that Grubby throws his way. Actually catching a Stalker here is going to slow down this push a lot. Might actually make Grubby pull back, to be honest with you. Grubby's still pushing across the middle of the map, though, with 3 sentries.
Yeah, 3 sentries, 1 stalker, a couple of zealots. No probes headed up to the front, though, to drop down forward pylon, so it doesn't look like he's worried about reinforcing. In fact, just worried about putting down his robotics facility and a single forge for the time being. He does have enough money for a second forge, but hasn't decided to invest in that quite yet.
Yeah, he wants to get an observer on the field before making the decision to actually go for a quicker third. Just want to make sure that your opponent has gone for a quick third command center, because if you do go for a third nexus, there's a lot of 2 base pushes off of 1 engineering bay that can do a nice amount of damage and potentially actually get into the natural and could kill you off, especially with the amount of forces here Illusion's been able to churn out after having the double racks follow up.
Yeah, and I think it could actually be a possibility here from Illusion. I mean, we see a lot of upgrades being invested in. He's going to have combat shield because it does finish up faster than Stim Pack. It's going to be done not too long after Stim Pack is done, given how late it was started, and he's going to have a nice timing available to him with +1 weapons, with that Stim Pack, with concussive shells. So trying concussive shells and actually combat shields to be able to hit a nice bio timing. But in the meantime, Grubby going up to 5 gateways, just a single forge for now. I would expect +1 armor to be started in just a bit, but not investing in a Colossus tech. More likely that if anything happens, if he goes into a tech route, we're going to see Twilight Council sometime soon.
Everything's looking really good here for Grubby to hold this, actually. He's got a nice amount of sentries on the field. He's going to have the Immortal being queued up, finally getting the +1 armor, but still, he delayed that a little bit so we can get out a few more units. Like 2 gateways are going to be finishing up at the same time. He's going to have 5 gateways available to warp in units. Would like to see a couple more Zealots in the composition as soon as he sees this, and he does see it right away. Wow, kills that really quickly. And it looks like Illusion's going to try and brook in here, but I really feel like Grubby's going to be able to hold this.
All right, well, Grubby's got his Immortals set down now, getting ready to defend here near the destructible rocks, and this is where Illusion's going to choose to make a stand. Of course, these sentries have enough energy, though, that they'll be able to force field that ramp for quite a while. Illusion could very well split up, though, and attack through both ramps at the same time.
Grubby needs to make sure that the first stem, he's able to make it be wasteful. He pulls back. He's actually going to engage on the top right corner. The Marines do pop in. They're actually focusing down the sentries here. Does kill off 1. Second one takes some damage, but does not go down, and Illusion is forced to pull back, but a lot of the force fields were used there. 1 sentry does have 2 more, but that is it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of force shields were used, granted, but, you know, that was a stim that's very close to permanent damage right now. If there's any sort of a follow-up from Grubby, just due to the fact that those medevacs are not anywhere close to being done. 3rd command center is on the way now for Illusion, but of course, Grubby holds that. He holds that pretty effectively and can put up a 3rd base here momentarily. All
right, so Illusion has left some units down the bottom left corner. He just wants to get a read for when that 3rd does pop up. Going to try and pop in there and maybe kill off the probe a couple of times and then pull back. He's really... Actually, that's one of his traits of his play. He really likes killing off probes before they get that 3rd up, but unfortunately, Grubby's moving into it very quickly here. There it goes, is on its way, and in the middle of the map, Grubby is starting to head out a little bit. Looks like he just wants to grab the Zelnaga, maybe put a little bit of pressure if Illusion's gone for too quick of a 3rd, but I don't see him doing too much damage here as the medevacs is starting to pop out.
Yeah, with multiple Immortals, though, this army is very stout, especially against the number of Marauders that, of course, Illusion was holding in his composition due to that early concussive shell. He sacrifices a Marauder to see what he suspected was there, and it is indeed a 3rd base available now for Grubby.
Well, we do have Grubby taking up very quickly here, going into the Templar Archives, really starting to move towards that high Templar tech, wants to be able to get Psionic Storm out very quickly, and is moving into charge a lot. So he'll be able to have charge and Psionic Storm, which is really good against bio forces with low amount of medevacs. So really, he's doing a good job of just simply, I feel like, countering Illusion's build. Illusion is starting to move into the 3rd command center, and it will be done very soon here, and he's starting to get a 2nd engineering base so he can keep up with upgrades. But for a while, Illusion's going to be kind of obsolete here unless he gets a nice drop happening, and there's actually one in the bottom right corner that he's going to try and go for.
Yeah, it looks like a double drop, and no units available whatsoever for Grubby, so this is going to get in and do a little bit of damage. Units not reacting quite yet, and it's going to be a lot of probes killed. At the very least, they're being pulled off the line for a very long period of time.
Well, High Templars are about to pop in. They will have that feedback available, but he's focusing down all the pylons here, going to empower all those gateways, and now Stalkers are actually here first. He can kill off the Stalkers as the army's only making the way. Feedbacks do happen immediately here, so it's going to be a little bit harder for these units to heal on up. Focusing down some probes as well, but killing off all those pylons has supply blocked Grubby and prevented his gateways being able to warp in units for a while, and he's pushing into the natural at the same time. Right here we go, Marines and Marauders pushing in right away. Multi-pronged aggression happening for Illusion here.
Wow, this is a great play. I mean, Illusion had most of his aggression held very effectively by Grubby up to this point, but Grubby loses a lot of probes, 27 of them. All of his gateways were depowered for that long, and things are in a lot worse position, certainly for Grubby, but looking kind of bleak.
Power of drops, man. That's why you see a lot of top-tier Protoss players leave 4 to 5 Stalkers in positions there so they can snipe off a medevac, and they only have to deal with 1 drop, and then they can kind of deal with multi-pronged aggression quickly. Grubby just had everything grouped up outside of his 3rd, and unfortunately no pylons on the right side because Illusion's been doing a good job of clearing them up. So with that, Illusion wants to get more aggressive here. He's got a +1 armor about to finish up, moving into +2. It won't be here for this push, but he does have 1/1 available.
And he certainly has the potential to try and get damage done. Charge Lots making their way up to the front. Force Field's trapping a few of those units, but of course he doesn't have enough units to be able to just move in and engage against those. The Archons are being dealt with pretty quickly. Their splash damage is proving to be pretty effective, but it forces probes off of the line now. And despite the power of the Immortals, Illusion has once again done some more damage. Oh, good Force Field to actually reroute the pathing of the units around the side that allows him to actually kill the front line of units first before engaging the back line. That was a good hold from Grubby.
Yeah, it certainly was. With that Force Field too, the Zealots that warped in were able to charge on the left side and start dealing with those units quite quickly as well. Nice play there from Grubby and a decent hold. Let's look at the unit stab real quick so we can get a feel for where he's at in economy. Not too bad actually. Still getting probes out constantly, 3 at a time here, so 60 to 55, and that third does pop up for Illusion. So essentially we're pretty even on bases.
All right, 1-1 upgrades for Illusion plus 2 weapons is pretty far along for him. Back on Grubby's side, 1-1 upgrades plus 2 weapons is just about done for him. So very even in that regard too. That little group of bio units though that I was pointing out before is still getting in here and doing yet more damage. 35 workers have been killed. Looks like they're going to try and snag another pylon on the way out. That's also going to buy time for Illusion to start moving his forces back down to the third. Full stim. He wants to kill this base.
Grubby does spot it though. Is on his way right away. Now there are the High Templars here. Will they get some more feedbacks off on this medevacs? There goes the Storm right away. Only getting 2 of the units though. Illusion is trying his best to pick off whatever he can. I think there's actually still a Marine in the top right corner of the main as well that he could potentially use. Oh, it's 1 Marauder. It's very low on HP, but with the medevacs being picked up, he is going to be able to save them very low on that last medevac, but although there was nothing in it, so it wouldn't really matter that much there for Grubby.
All right, so now of course we're in the situation where Illusion has gained himself great control of the map. He's done economic damage. He's kept his opponent pinned into 3 bases for a long time. He's got to make sure he doesn't overextend. There is a sufficient amount of AoE out there for Grubby that he can, if he gets a good engagement, really slaughter his opponent's army, and then it'd be very difficult for Illusion to find footing. As it stands, he's still in a great spot. He's just really got to invest in the right places. Ghosts are coming out. That's a good movement that way. He's reinvesting back into his upgrades with +3 weapons, getting his infrastructure up with 3 more barracks. So he's certainly playing very effectively. He's got to make sure that he just doesn't get a little bit too greedy and attack too often.
Yeah, he's getting really strong at the moment. As you mentioned, the Ghosts coming out are going to help him out a lot. I don't think there's any in this push, though. Would like for him to wait a little bit longer until he gets the Ghost actually in this composition. Maybe even pull a couple of SCVs to repair the medevacs that are low on HP. Looks like Grubby's going to move to his 4th in the top right corner. He's defending his 3rd here. If Illusion can get a hold of that 4th and keep him on 3 bases, he will get pretty strong as time goes by. A stim does happen. A Storm hits as well. 2 Storms hit pretty nicely there. And Illusion is forced to retreat. Retain your medevacs, though.
This is exactly what I was worried about. And Illusion gets in there. He loses a lot of forces to that. I had all of his forces selected going into it just to see how many would be remaining at the end. He had 2 full pages of units, now down to less than 1 full page as Grubby is able to equalize really, really well with that engagement and start establishing a 4th base off to the right-hand side.
All right, there is an observer in the middle of the map. It does see the reinforcements here for Illusion. We'll see the 3 Ghosts that are in the mix as well. So notes he'll have to start spraying his units a little bit more. There are a lot of Zealots, though, and they clump up very easily. If you can hit the Archon on the Zealots here, he'll be able to clear them up very quickly and then deal with the Marauders. Marauders, as you get to mid-late game, just aren't that strong against a huge Bioforce that does this much DPS.
All right, well, Illusion's going to move back in again. Those medevacs are starting to get lower and lower, and a couple of feedbacks actually hit multiple Ghosts, so no EMPs are going to hit this army whatsoever. This will give Grubby the best possible opportunity to try and move in. He tries to flank with a Templar from the side too, can't land the 2nd Storm, but the 1st one is more than enough to move Illusion back.
You cannot play against Grubby's High Templars. They are so good at one-landing feedbacks and always hitting a good money Storm. He hits about 50% of his Storms, which is really high ratio for a lot of Protoss players. There is a scouted 4th, though, in the bottom right corner. If I was Illusion, I would move straight over there because he actually has a pocket of units at that 4th on the left side, so he'll be able to go into the 3rd. Oh, that's just a supply depot, just kidding. Would like to have him put some units there and then go for a multi-pronged aggression into that 3rd.
Yeah, but now Grubby's going to be split up a little bit. You're absolutely right. So if he decides to reinforce over here, it's going to be very difficult for him to maneuver back around to his 3rd and defend that position. But Illusion, let's see, he has 7 Ghosts in total. Looks like there they are finally catching up to the main bulk of this army. So he still does have quite a few options available to him, and if these Templar get caught, it would be a disaster.
Well, the Ghosts are actually going to be force-fielded out there. There we go now, and getting right away. +3 did just kick in for Illusion, so he has a lot of damage here. The Archons are dealt with very quickly. The Immortals are running away, and it looks like Illusion's going to be able to push into this base. There are High Templars that have been warped in, but a split automatically here from Illusion will prevent the Storms from doing too much damage. He has a nice concave here. 1 Immortal stands between this whole entire army for Illusion, and he looks like he's going to take this 4th base.
Yeah, Grubby made the decision to not engage with his Templar at the initial start of it, actually circling them around around the back to be able to make a stand here and hope that all these forces were clumped up. Oh, tries to hit a storm as well on these units, but Illusion just going to drop directly into the main.
He's attacking into the third at the same time at the bottom left here. Grubby is going to be forced to be all over the place. Unfortunately, he has no units. He has one high tempo here. Finally, a Colossus does pop out. We'll be able to deal with that, but the main drop in the main where the majority of the army is at is ravaging his infrastructure.
Yeah, that's right. So it's 120 supply advantage now, and Illusion's just in such a great spot. He's starting to kill his opponent's infrastructure. Warpins are going to be severely limited. Grubby, in fact, hasn't been able to buffer that count as high as he would have liked, and he actually is forced to GG now because of the harassment that Illusion had been doing earlier in the game, so it works out for him. He isolates that fourth base and takes it out. Grubby forced to tap out.
1-1, man. All of our series are going to the ace matches, man. So this is going to be real, well, except for the one against Lucifon and Grubby. But the other matches, the other two, going to the ace match is really important, of course. Loser does fall out of this tournament and will be only getting $1,000. It's nice, but you want to land that $1,500 or $2,500.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, guys, we are going to run to a commercial break. When we get back, it's going to be time for game number 3 between Illusion and Grubby. Don't go anywhere.